Now, it is my great privilege to invite a graduate of our 2-year JD Honors Program, and Pham, to share a few words. Before coming to New York Law School, Anne worked on public policy and refugee resettlement issues. And while she was a student here, she was active in our immigration asylum clinics and courses. Welcome, Anne.
In my 1L year, a few days before oral arguments in our legal practice class, I went to see my professor to discuss reservations I had about the assignment, since I've always had a paralyzing fear of public speaking. The thought of standing in front of a panel of judges to advocate for a hypothetical client was more than terrifying to me. After giving me tips on how to overcome or control my anxiety, Professor McQuillan gave me a reassuring smile, handed me a pen, and told me that if all else fails, just squeeze it tightly to channel all my nervous energy. And that's actually what I'm doing right now. Thanks, Professor McQuillan. As you can see, I survived oral arguments. I recently passed the bar, and I stand before you today about to begin my career as an immigration attorney on Wall Street. Thank you. I've come a long way from being that nervous 1L, and if I'm able to speak for my fellow classmates, we've all come a long way, and we owe a large part of that to our professors, our mentors, and our friends here at New York Law School. Literally speaking, I have come a long way to be here since I come from Chestermere, which is a small city in Western Canada. I decided to travel all the way to New York because I wanted to get my law degree in the shortest amount of time possible in the 2-year honors program so I could take on the world as soon as possible, all while doing it in the greatest city on earth. Looking back now, my classmates and I are saddened by the realization that time has passed by way too quickly. But that doesn't mean we're not ready to take our next steps in their journey. Our time at New York Law School, like we'd hope, have given us the skills and knowledge for us necessary to take on the world, and further fueled our passion to pursue our chosen path. My dad is a Vietnamese refugee, so immigration law and its impacts have always been ingrained into my identity. My parents taught my brothers and me to appreciate the freedom and opportunities that were provided to us, but to never forget our roots. That is why prior to coming to law school, I volunteered in Southeast Asia to help resettle refugees across Canada. I soon realized, however, that I could do more as a lawyer. That is why I couldn't wait to participate in the immigration law and litigation clinic, as well as the asylum clinic in my senior years of law school. It was here that Professors Lenny Benson and Professor Claire Thomas taught us how to passionately and zealously advocate for the rights of our clients, which for us happened to be children who entered the US seeking refuge from abuse and mistreatment in their native countries. Some of our clients are the so-called DACA kids. It was here that I learned from hardworking women lawyers who were not only my professors, but also my role models. They showed me that you don't have to be the loudest or most dominating person in the room to make a difference. They demonstrated that conviction, passion, and compassion are some of the most powerful tools a lawyer can possess. Moreover, they encouraged us to be creative while maintaining our integrity as lawyers. They showed us how to be sensitive while still getting the job done, and they taught us the importance of self-care without sacrificing our dedication to our clients. To sum it up, they were complete badasses. For me, self-care during law school involved a lot of bonding with my friends, most of whom are in the 2-year program. There was a lot of laughing, a lot of comfort foods, and a lot of lounging around the fireplace in the student lounge, which the 2-year program adopted as our clubhouse. Special thanks to Tony from Facilities for always saving us food for our late-night cram sessions. Law school has given us the chance to be in the company of some of the most friendly and inspiring people, and we're really going to miss them. Even though we're in one of the biggest cities in the world, New York Law School has created for us a tight-knit community. We've made lifelong friends. We learned invaluable lessons in law and in life from some of the most engaging professors, and we received support from the nicest and most caring staff and faculty members. My classmates and I have come a long way from being those nervous 1Ls, and we're now equipped to handle whatever come our way as new lawyers, advocating for a more fair and just world, with some of us clutching tightly onto this pen. To everyone here today, you've had our backs, and now it's time we have yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Anne. I am now pleased to announce the names of the finalists for the Trustees Prize for highest cumulative grade point average. We will award a prize to the top day division student and the top evening division student among both February graduates and June or September candidates. The final awards will be made after all grades are complete in June. I now ask that the finalists join me at the podium as their names are called. For February graduates, the finalists are Ann Malley in the day division and Alexander McMullen in the day division, Hugh Jacobson in the evening division, and Daniel Lorber in the evening division, who unfortunately cannot be with us this afternoon. For June or September candidates, the finalists are Travis Bruno in the day division, Jonathan Hassan in the day division, who also cannot be here with us today, Caitlin Canning in the evening division, Sara Moharrem in the evening division, and Daniel Okendo also in the evening division. Congratulations to you all. And now, I ask our next student speaker, Elizabeth Tran, to share her remarks. Elizabeth is a member of our day division and a John Marshall Harlan Scholar. She has been active in our Impact Center for Public Interest Law, the New York Law School Law Review, the Dean's Leadership Council, and many other student organizations. Welcome, Elizabeth.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is truly an honor and privilege to be standing here on stage at Carnegie Hall speaking to you all. In my law school application, I talked about my 90-year-old grandpa. His name is Pham, and he was idolized by other fishermen on the docks of the Berkeley Pier in California. While other people went home empty-handed, my grandpa had to call his grandchildren over to help him with the buckets full of fish. When I accompanied him on his fishing trips, I witnessed many people coming to ask him his secret. My grandpa doesn't speak any English. He can't even read or write in his only language, Vietnamese. Yet, people still seek him out for help. To me, that makes him the fishing king. I decided to go to law school so that I too could be so good at something that people would seek me out for advice. And more than anything, I wanted to be able to help them. Then, arguably, I can be the queen of something too. When I got to law school, I was reminded, of course, that our Constitution bans all titles of nobility. So actually, I can't be the queen of anything. But that didn't stop me from gaining the knowledge and the skills to help others. So, as first semester nerves subsided, I started getting used to reading for class. It no longer took me 3 hours to read 10 pages. I landed a summer internship at a great nonprofit. Hard work seemed to have paid off. But then the second year came along, and I started to realize that it doesn't get any easier after the first year. In fact, it gets harder. The world does not stop when you're in law school. It does not stop because you have to turn in footnotes for law review, write a case comment draft, apply for summer internships, and read for classes all at the same time. Some of us were also trying to find a new place to live, dealing with roommate issues, getting engaged and planning a wedding, missing a week of class because of Army Reserve training, going through heartbreaks and breakups, battling illnesses, and unfortunately, suffering through loss. And at every turn, curveballs were thrown at us, personally and professionally. Yet, we persisted. Think about the last 3 years. So much has happened to reshape our understanding of democracy and the role we play as lawyers. Think about how much more our families rely on our support and perspective. When a problem is thrown at you, you can choose to run and hide, or you can turn to colleagues for help. And that's exactly what we did. We turned to our New York Law School family. That's why, when I think back on my law school experience, the people will be who I remember the most. At New York Law School, I've had so many advocates, always motivating and encouraging me. And it starts from the top down. During my summer internship with Con Edison, I met Judge George Silver. When he found out I went to NYLS, he said, "Oh yes, I know your dean there. He's terrific. He knows all his students by name." To have the person at the very top know who you are, what your story is, makes you feel that you matter. And we were so lucky to have not just the wonderful deans and professors, but also Aisha in academic affairs, Rob from the Coffee Center, Jesse and Tony from maintenance, and Steve, Anthony, Rosie, Kenny, basically the whole security team, to name a few. I was also lucky enough to receive many care packages from my family and friends in California, not to mention the many Skype hours we spent together on FaceTime and Skype. It really does take a village. We've all learned a lot during our time here in law school. From our professors, always look at the text, substance over form unless you're dealing with wills, be concise but precise, our words are our weapons, never commingle funds, and It's about the people. People matter. Your relationship with other people matters. Know that, believe that, live by that. Because as we step out into the real world, we need persistence and ambition. But more than anything, we need the support system. Look at the person next to you. See the person next to you. Realize that we not only live amongst each other, but with one another. This profession is about helping and advocating for others. And throughout the past 3 years, we were able to do that at New York Law School. For me, I was able to achieve my goal of helping others as a teaching assistant for Professor Chang's 1L criminal law class, as a student ambassador giving advice to admitted students, as a student leader for the first-generation professionals, as an instructor for the street law clinic, and as an advocate in the education law clinic. I share my story because it's not different from all of yours. I stand here as a sister, a daughter, a granddaughter, a niece, a cousin, an Asian American, a first-generation professional, a woman, a human being, and a friend. Now, at the risk of this sounding like an acceptance speech at the Oscars, I want to say thank you. To all our professors, thank you for training us, believing in us, and giving us the tools to succeed. To my wonderful classmates and friends, thank you for the last 3 years. You've all truly made a difference in my life, and I hope that I made a difference in yours. I look forward to what comes next for all of us, and no matter how we define success, know that we are successful right now in this room together. To all our families, those that are here celebrating with us today, and those who couldn't be, we would not be here without you. Especially to my friends, families who invited me into their homes, thank you for making this West Coast girl less alone on the East Coast. And finally, to my family who has supported me from 3,000 miles away. Con cảm ơn ba mẹ, cảm ơn tất cả gia đình đã ủng hộ con, lo cho con và cầu nguyện cho con. Con mong là lúc nào gia đình cũng sẽ hãnh diện vì con. And to my grandpa, who is here today with us. Ông nội đứng dậy. Ông nội con làm luật sư nè. And Grandpa, look, I did it. I found my Berkeley peer here at New York Law School. Thank you.
Thank you, Elizabeth. We will now present the Alfred L. Rose Award for Excellence. Recipient of this highest honor are selected by the law school faculty, and the award is given to students who have excelled academically and contributed greatly to the life of the school through leadership and example. I am happy to name this year's award winners. As I call your name, please join me at the podium. Rebecca Ruffer in the day division, and Daniel Okendo in the evening division. Congratulations to you both.
It is now my pleasure to introduce you to our next student speaker and a member of our evening division, Sara Moharrem. Sara is a John Marshall Harlan Scholar, a member of the Law Review, and she is affiliated with the Center for Business and Financial Law. By day, she is an associate at Goldman Sachs. Welcome, Sara.
Historically, Arab culture is one in which women's voices are stifled by the men in their lives. Thankfully, that was never my experience. I'm the daughter of Egyptian immigrants, and my father never stifled me. He never pushed me towards a certain path in life, and he never let his own reservations keep me from making my own mistakes. And the smartest, most outspoken person in my house was my mom. No offense, Dad, this will all make sense in a minute. My mother was a stay-at-home mom who never obtained a college degree and never mastered the English language. As a result, she relied on my translation services since I was in kindergarten, and my mom expected United Nations level translations from a 5-year-old. For as long as I can remember, my mother always had high expectations for me and my sister Dina and my brother Mahmoud. She never cut me any breaks, she never made excuses for me, and when I fell off the proverbial horse, she never let me feel sorry for myself. She always said the test of strength is how one deals with failure, and when I was feeling down, she told me that I didn't know how strong I was. And she was right. I really didn't know. But I recently discovered what she meant. When I enrolled in law school in 2014, I said to myself, sure, I can do law school in the evenings while working full-time, maintaining a household, starting a family. Obviously, my peers and I have delusional thoughts from time to time. Yet for reasons I didn't anticipate, the past 4 years of my life have been the most challenging years I have ever endured. While in law school, I divorced my first husband, my dog died, and my mom was twice diagnosed with cancer. All the while, law school was going on somewhere in the background, the way smooth jazz plays in an elevator. And what struck me is that my situation is not unique. So many of my classmates have had hurdles to overcome throughout their law school careers, and the more I opened up and looked to them for their support, I admired every single one who has managed to keep their family, full-time job, and sanity intact, give or take, throughout this experience. We have all persevered through some form of tragedy, through mental anguish, and through those days where we thought, I just can't do this anymore. When I was a struggling first-year analyst trying to navigate life post-college in a new professional environment, I made many mistakes, mostly attributed to my naivete, sometimes to my big mouth. Towards the end of that first year, after having my fair share of setbacks, my manager handed me a piece of paper, which I still have today, 8 years later. It reads, "Quisque pedam pugam est promovio." For the benefit of those of us who have yet to master Latin, myself included, he told me that means every kick in the rear is a push forward. To get through life, we have to keep moving forward. We can't rely on people cutting us breaks. We can't make excuses, and we can't stop and feel sorry for ourselves. Our clients deserve better than that. And now, more than ever, in the America we live in today needs advocates like us. In a world where students like my brother and teachers, like my sister, have to fear violence in schools, our leadership is essential. A message that last year's graduates heard that is still important today is, you are about to enter upon a serious profession and will have the chance to bring some leadership and sanity to the world. We are the future, and looking around at my fellow graduates, I am reassured that the future is worth looking forward to. 4 months ago, my mother, Mirvat Abdelghani, passed away. I decided that I would not attend graduation. Everything I worked for seemed like it didn't matter if my mom wasn't here to see it. A few weeks after she passed, I wondered what she would have said if she knew I wasn't going to my graduation ceremony. She would have said, "What you've worked for should never be given up for anyone or anything. You are a crown that anyone should be honored to wear on their head." My mother thought of us as crowns because we achieved what many women in the Middle East could not, and she thought we deserved to be celebrated for our achievements. We, the New York Law School class of 2018, should all view ourselves as crowns. Despite our own unique obstacles, we have achieved no small feat. I am honored to have spent the last 4 years with my fellow classmates who are all crowns. And I am especially honored to have known Martin Banks, our beloved classmate who we lost 3 months ago and who we lost too soon. Martin was one of the kindest, most genuine people I have ever had the pleasure of knowing. He endearingly called me by the nickname Egypt, and I will miss hearing him shout that across the hall. I know that Martin wanted to give this speech to all of you, and ironically, here I am instead, the woman who did not want to attend graduation. If Martin stood before you, he would have said, "Be encouraged." So now I say to all of you, be encouraged. I thank God for giving me the strength to make it through all of life's hurdles. I thank my amazing professors, especially Professor Susan Abraham, for her kindness, and without whom evidence would still be an abyss. Thank you to Professor Myers, Professor Purcell, Professor Kim Hawkins, Associate Dean LaPiana, and all the professors I've had the great honor of attending classes with. Thank you to my amazing manager, Caroline, for always helping me flourish, and Sass for vandalizing my desk yesterday with congrats grad streamers and posters. Thank you to Antoinette and Noreen, who always cheered me on like family, and to Omnia for being the best always. Thank you to Hanan, Fatma, my second sister, Samar, Rasha, and of course Marwan, who supported me throughout this journey with encouraging words and lots of coffee. Thank you, Lena and Young, my first friends in law school when I really needed a friend, and who are now my family. And now I'd like to thank the man that made this all possible, my father, Ahmed. Thank you, Baba, for your hard work and sacrifice, and for teaching me the value of an education. I thank my husband, Abdu, who always reminds me that, quote, "I got this. I couldn't be here without your love and support." I thank my sister for inspiring me and her students every day, and my brother for reminding me never to take life too seriously. I hope I've made my mom in heaven proud. I will always love and miss you, Mommy, and everything I do is for you. Thank you.
Thank you, Sara. Thank you. The last honor we present today is the Dean's Award for Student Leadership, which goes to members of the graduating class who have demonstrated exemplary leadership skills during their tenure at New York Law School. I'd like the Dean's Award recipients to please stand as their names are announced and remain standing until the end. I am delighted to present the 2018 New York Law School Dean's Leadership Award to Brenda Alejo, Rima Attar, Jessica Brenner, George Cardvelli, Amanda Chiarello, Amber Daly, Tarian Ellis, Patrick Hendrick, Colia Hendrickson, Casey Kimball, Dwayne Lattimore, Nicholas Luciano, Agatha Mavropoulos, Ryan Medler, Kadia Penson, Stefano Perez, Ashley Rakuya, Rebecca Ruffer, Anais Salazar, Laura Salgado, Maria Scalisi, Stephanie Torres, and there is one more Dean's Leadership Award recipient who is not here today, but whose presence we feel strongly, Martin Banks. Martin passed away a few days after he graduated in February, as we heard from Sara. He was remarkably accomplished, highly intelligent, and beloved by all who knew him. He is an example of the very best our school has to offer, and we mourn his loss. We are so honored that Martin's family could join us today. We welcome them and we thank them for making the journey here from Pennsylvania. They join us in celebrating his many accomplishments and his example of dignity, empathy, perseverance, and most of all, gratitude. It is an example that his classmates should carry with them now and throughout their legal careers. So congratulations to all of our 23 winners. But I have to say, in addition to these wonderful student leaders, I must acknowledge all of the student leaders in our graduating class, and there are many. We had an exceptional group with a true depth and breadth of accomplishment, and I congratulate you all.